Pearson,
Here.
Councilmember Lisa Lake,
Here.
Councilmember Brett Hansen.
Here.
Okay, do we have any amendments to the agenda? The chair doesn't have any.
No, sir. None from staff.
Okay, it's time for public comment. We have two people signed up. The first one is Melissa. Nope, Peters, nope, she didn't sign up. She just did. Okay, just an example, okay. Mr. Dinesh, I think it's pronounced.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you having me. My name is Vinny Diniz. I'm a resident of Timnath, obviously.
If you'd like to take, if you want to take your mask down, if it's easier to talk, I think it's fine with the chair.
Yes, I'm not contaminating.
And then you can put it back on.
Okay, I'll start over.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you. So thanks again for your time. My name is Vinny Diniz. I'm a resident of Timnath. I've been here for about a year next month, so thanks for having me. And I'm here to speak about my opinions about rezoning. And since meeting people who live in Timnath before I lived here, I've always wanted to live here. I find this city or this town to be quiet with low traffic, beautiful parks, amazing folks. And that's the reason why I moved. So the rezoning proposes the addition of several multifamily places. I do believe that multifamily places are very important. In fact, for 15 out of the 20 years that I've lived in this country, I lived in multifamily units. So because of them, I was able to achieve my American dream, which is to buy a place or buy a home in a place that I found to be what I've always wanted: low traffic, parks which are not full. We know what we have in Timnath, right? Which is this slow-paced, this slow environment. And so going back to the importance of multifamily units, we have them approved already. I think they're very important. They're very important to me. Okay, but I am for us keeping the zoning that we have approved right now and not changing to completely revamping and changing the way that the town feels like. Okay, everyone who bought a house in the city, I am sure that they bought it not just because of the size of the house or because of anything other than the main parts, which are the way it feels around here. It's quiet, it's small, people are kind, and we want to keep it that way. I understand that changes are always welcome and changes happen, just like in a marriage, right? You buy a house, it's a marriage. You expect the person you're marrying, they're going to change a little bit, right? But it's not like they're going to completely become this opposite person than when you marry that person, right? So I understand, you know, and also people who moved here, I'm sure when they bought the house, they consider that, do I want to live in a place that's going to be busy? Should I choose Fort Collins? Should I choose Loveland? Or you know what? Let's go to Timnath. I'm sure what they did not think is, you know what? Timnath has all that empty space. It's quiet, but guess what? In a few years, it's going to be banging, and I'm going to move right there because I can't wait for all that empty space to be filled. They never thought that, I am sure. And the same way, the opposite. If someone who wants action, who wants restaurants, festivals, and live music, and they move to Old Town, they never thought, you know what, I'm going to move there because in a few years, I'm sure it's going to be super quiet and peaceful. I can't wait for that to happen. That's not why people move. There's a baked-in feeling that where the place that you move, it's going to be about the place that you want to continue to live. Again, you will change, but not completely or fundamentally change. I do not want to see, and I've spoken to a lot of folks. I believe that there's an overwhelming feeling that folks agree with me. I don't want to take my kids to the park and having a line at the swing with 5 kids in front and 5 kids or 5 kids waiting for my kid to get off the swing, right? So we like the way it is. So, and I'm sure that every one of you, all our elected officials, by the way, thank you so much for you to being a public servant. I truly appreciate it. And I'm sure you're not here for glory and money. You're here for mostly because you care for our community and you care for our town. I come from a place that's infested with corruption. I do not think that that's where you are. And that's why I truly appreciate it. Okay. I come from a place that people who have the money and the power call the shots. And whatever the citizens think, doesn't matter. They're the ones who get screwed with the decisions, whereas the powerful control. And I know that that's not where you're coming from. I know that, and I truly believe that each one of you will vote for this or vote against the change. I don't want to use the word against because it looks negative, sounds negative. Let's say you're going to vote for keeping our town the way it's been planned. Okay. And I know you have.
If you would wrap it up now.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
And again, thank you so much. I think I've said what I wanted to say. I would like you to reflect upon the comments and try to feel how people thought when they wanted to move here. They moved here for one reason. It's a beautiful place. It's a nice community, and we're lucky to keep it that way with changes, but just like in a marriage, not like in something that completely.
Thank you for
Okay.
your comments.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Any questions?
And, any questions? Okay, truly appreciate it. I'll try to be gathering some support. I feel that most people do support me, and I hope that you'll, in my opinion, do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else for public comments? Didn't sound, okay, the consent agenda payables, if we have a motion,
I move to approve the consent agenda payables.
a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous, one abstention. Consent agenda, public hearing, ordinance number 11. An ordinance amended chapter 4. Who's going to speak on this one? Don or?
Just as a point of order, there's no discussion on these unless
Okay,
one
because it's
gets pulled off
consent, so
consent.
just go right ahead. Okay, do we have a motion to accept this on the consent agenda?
I move to approve the setting public hearings under consent agenda.
And what this means is it'll be on the agenda next time. And if you want to have testimony or come in and comment, you can. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. The ayes have it, one abstention. Okay, consent agenda other. Is there any other? Let's move into reports, mayor and council reports. Is-
Mayor, we do
we have
need a
council
vote on the
What?
consent agenda. We do need a vote on the consent agenda other. Those are the council minutes. Yes, sir.
A vote on which one?
On 6A.
It's a council.
Yeah, for the council meeting.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I move to approve the consent agenda other.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Ayes have it, one abstention. Now we move to reports, I hope. How am I going to beat his record of 7 minutes? if I don't-
We do move to reports.
As pro tem, let me make a quick report. I want to thank Brian and our police chief. Last weekend, some of the council members were able to tour and visit 3 different police stations in the area. Erie, Firestone, and Windsor. Excellent tours. Their folks were very hospitable. They were nice. They asked questions. They answered questions. And I think we got a lot of good feedback from the tour that we had taken. And it just one more thing that we need to do in order to move forward on the project. And Brian and Chief, thanks a lot. Anybody else have a report?
I have a couple items. First, just to add on to the police station tour, it was really informative. Firestone, I think they're definitely still in a honeymoon phase on their building, so they had nothing but good things to say about theirs. A common theme that I just wanted to note from Windsor and Erie was they felt that they had not adequately predicted the population growth of the town, and they ran out of space far faster, and they were hemmed in with how they could expand. So I think we'll want to keep an eye on some aggressive population potential numbers as we look at our long-term plans. Just that was the consistent theme I saw from the two. So, and then the second item I had was we had our another Metro District Committee meeting last week. It was a presentation about different debt structures that Metro Districts take on, something that can definitely catch people's attention when they hear about debt and what their taxes are paying for. Town staff is preparing a public version of this presentation that will be given in the next few weeks. We also have an FAQ document that we're putting together, and that the town is going to be soliciting some feedback from the community on for just what questions in general they have about Metro District, so we can make sure we have a good resource available. And our next meeting, we're going to be reviewing the Timnath Model Service Plan, just looking at the concepts at a high level, see if there's any recommendations the committee might have for us to take a look at. So that's where we're at on that committee, and that's all I have.
I should add that I've talked to the mayor. He's recuperating, doing nicely, and actually had called with a couple of questions on the agenda tonight. And that, but until his doctors release him, he's not supposed to be doing those kind of things. And his wife's going to see that those phone calls stop. Let's go move to the finance update. Lisa, I think you have something.
Thank you. I wanted to give you a couple updates. Your financial package has the numbers through June, and I wanted to update you on the sales tax numbers for July. July 2019 compared to July 2020, just for the month, is up 11.2%. The year-to-date numbers from July 2020 compared to the year-to-date numbers from 19 are up 16.1%. Any questions on the sales tax numbers? One other item I wanted to point out on the finance package was its bullet point number 4, and it's the restatement of our beginning fund balance for 2020. We came across something after the audit was done, and we made that correction to our fund balance. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
I don't think we have any questions, Lisa. It'll be interesting to see what the school situation does to the budget in August, because we usually have a very big August in terms of sales tax with our two vendors in town.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that for
With
sure.
the homeschooling and with everything, it'll be interesting to see what that does. So thank you very much.
I did have one quick question, just for my own information. I mentioned we applied for $112,000 from CARES funding. I know we had the expenses with the small business grant and with the school donation. What other types of expenses did we see related to COVID?
There was a lot of additional cleaning and supplies, some personnel, some PPE equipment, additional police time related to managing crowds at Costco and Walmart.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mhm. Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Don, do you have an engineering report? Thank you, Don. Let's have community development
I'll have
report.
one question there. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I saw that our window on the Walmart situation to close for the year. When does that window open again? Say things resolved in a week, when's the next window that construction
Okay,
could start?
I think the next
For the
window is,
people listening in, you might explain what the window was.
okay. What we're talking about is the Walmart traffic issue north of the intersection of Whitesell and Harmony. If anybody was in that intersection during the holiday season last year, they probably experienced some level of frustration. We've been dealing with it for at least 2.5 years. I can tell you that I am now at the top of the food chain of Walmart. I've been told before I left on vacation last week that we were moments away from getting approval of what we had talked about in terms of them contributing a certain amount of money plus all the property, which would then be right of way so we could control the improvements there. I expect that to be the case. I don't expect it to happen in enough time for us to construct anything this year. But I believe it will be here ample time to design and construct by April or May of next year.
Okay.
Now, they did tell me, just on another side note, is that at least Walmart is intending to have almost a totally virtual Black Friday this year. The store hours will be restricted. So some of the same things that we experienced last year from a traffic standpoint probably are not going to occur this year, which is a side benefit.
Great. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Don. Let's have a community development report, Brian.
Thank you. I just wanted to give you an update on the park status. We are planning on opening parts of the park this Friday. That would be the adventure play area, the Bosque, the restroom building, the dog park, and the parking lot. We have run into some challenging ground conditions in the large turf field, which has delayed the sod going down. We hit some a shale level in there when we were installing the irrigation, which required a little bit of additional mediation, not very expensive, just time consuming. So we're just pushing that back, but we want to get some of that stuff open as soon as possible so people can get on it this year. So you look for a phased opening on that. I'll have another update for you next time about where we're at.
Any
I'm happy to answer-
questions?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the police report.
I had one
police-
thing,
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Go ahead.
Thanks. I have two things actually for, in the community development report as well. One thing is in Timmins South, this is south of River Pass and east of Three Bell. There are many trees that are in conflict with stop signs, and I wanted to give the council a little update. We actually sent out some information. Some of the folks that live down there may have gotten a notice, but the town is going to go and do some clearing of those stop signs to create safer intersections. Our police officers have documented all those. We've got a certified arborist that the town works with that we've contracted, and they're going to actually start working on those tomorrow. So that information was put out to the community. Hopefully everybody saw that, and that's what's going to be happening. So if anybody gets any calls, you can direct them my way, and I can field those. So second thing that I have is the reservoir. I do have a report in there in this community development report about the reservoir. It is going down, but at this point in time, it's gone down such that we're basically unable to launch boats from a trailer. So it's all pretty much non-motorized boating at this point in time going forward for the rest of the season. So it was predicted, but with the hotter, drier weather that has caused the release of the water from the reservoir to be a little more rapid than what was expected. So we're kind of at the end of that motorized boating season per se. That's all I had.
Any questions for you? Okay. Chief, do you have a report? Any questions for the chief? Nope, I think you're fine tonight. Thank you.
Thanks. And I would like to just offer again our sincerest thanks for going on those tours with us. We found it very beneficial.
It was excellent, excellent.
Thank
We covered a lot of ground.
We did.
Okay, let's go into business. Resolution appointing Lisa Bard to the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So this action is a little bit long overdue, but we welcome Lisa to the full seat. She has been acting on the Planning Commission as an alternate since, I thought I had the term in here, but she's been there since 2017. And so she's the most senior of the alternates. We have two. And as protocol has it, we ask that the council appoint the most senior of the alternates to the full seat that has been vacated. So Lisa is here tonight. I see her back there. And so ask the council to make this motion to promote her to the full planning commission.
Any comments or questions?
No, I just want to thank Lisa. I know you've done a great job over the years, and I appreciate your service with that. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Lisa Bard as a permanent member to the Planning Commission.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. 4 ayes and 1 abstain. Congratulations and thank you very much. And that's how the process is supposed to work in terms of you served at a probationary status, and to serve 2 years, you should be commended for that. Thank you very much, and we look forward to having you on the commission. Phil, watch out. Okay, the second resolution, number 57, series 2020, resolution 2012 firework contract. I think you're going to talk about that, Kim.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and council members for having me here today. It's pretty straightforward, but what you're looking at is a resolution to approve a contract for our fireworks display for the 2021 July 4th event. Fireworks are, as you can well imagine, pretty in high demand on July 4th. And so because we purchase our fireworks from China, and it is a custom purchase, the lead time is quite long. So we are looking at making this commitment now with the intention of actually having the fireworks in July of 2021. We have scaled this contract to be similar to what this year's production was, and therefore kind of the same amount that we've had. There is a small discount. We were not able to do the musical accompanying with this year's show because we did the drive-in system. So they'll discount the charge for like putting all of that together and coordinating the logistics there. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Jinx.
That's very close, but I'm going to give it to the lady on the right.
Well, and I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. By Ford, 1 abstain, it passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion of future items. On the agenda tonight is a discussion regarding Safe Built. And I think Matt's going to take that to start with.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yes, this is an opportunity for the town's building official, Safe Built, to have a little bit of a presentation and overview of some stats for the last year for the council's benefit. The town has been working with Safe Built since 1999, providing building permit and building official services. So it's been a pretty long relationship and a very good one, and it works out so that there's the ability to have Safe Built provide a lot of services to the town and flex those services depending on the demand that's happening at the time. I won't belabor that, but I'll let Caleb, actually the town's acting building official for Safe Built, do a quick presentation to you tonight, and then have an opportunity for you to ask questions and give us any feedback. With that, Caleb, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, staff members. It's good to be here. A lot of familiar faces. I've been the building official with Safe Built for the town since January 2019, so almost 2 years now. And it's been a pleasure to serve alongside many of the staff members here. Tonight we have Amanda from our account management team, and also Jeremy Tamlin, our deputy building official for the town, here with us. And a couple of other team members weren't able to make it tonight, but we hope to introduce them at another future meeting. I'm not going to read everything on the presentation, just keep it brief, but hit some of the high points. A lot of this was included in the staff report, but we did make some updates as far as adding some of the graphs and numbers as we go through, so I'll touch on those really briefly. Again, as Matt said, we've been the town building department since 1999, and as such, we work to protect the town, the residents, ensure safety everyone in their places that they live, work, and play. And we provide a team of experienced certified staff to be able to deliver those services. We also adjust to the market fluctuations, as Matt mentioned. When things are booming, we bring on additional staff. When things slow down, we adjust likewise to be able to maintain that level of service throughout all the economy where it goes up and down there. So what we do, we provide top-notch building services. We include building plan review, building inspections, code enforcement services, complaint investigations. We'll issue stop work orders and notice of violations if necessary. Seems like we've had a few of those recently. Support other town departments with the building code consultation. So we attend other meetings for future developments and provide building department and building code advice on that. When there's a structure that's damaged by a natural disaster, whether it's a fire, sometimes not a natural disaster, a vehicle crashing into a building, things like that. Whenever there's a structural damage, we do the damage assessment, work with the police and fire and other departments to be able to assess whether it's safe for people to go back into that structure or what repairs are needed to be able to make it safe to occupy. We assist in the code adoption process, which we did last year, along with amendment recommendations. So typically we do that every 6 years. The codes are updated every 3 years. We typically skip a code cycle and then adopt on the following code cycle to stay current with new requirements for new products and materials. As you know, everything is constantly changing with new technologies that are coming out. So we try to keep up with that by adopting the new codes and recommending the amendments that will stay in line with the town's vision for going forward. We also provide code training to contractors and homeowners. We had a training that we hosted here in Timoth Town Hall last December, and there were over 70 contractors that attended that throughout the region, going over the code requirements that went into effect January 1st of this year. So able to provide that information for them up front before starting to enforce those requirements. We also keep up with the latest technology in the building industry, including providing our community core software, which we just had an update on. So that's added some more, I don't know, what would you call it? Just more advances in what we have available for our team members out in the field through the iPads that they carry, more information that's available at their fingertips when they're doing inspections, more history and information there. It's also increased availability of the community. They're able to log in. They're able to see their status of their permit applications, their inspection requests, their inspection results. They can track throughout the entire process on a cell phone, a smartphone, iPad, a computer. They can log in on any of those platforms to get full visibility for where they're at in the process. What makes us different is our commitment to excellence and our core values: integrity, improvement, service, teamwork, and respect. Integrity really comes first with everything, doing the right thing every time. We really, as a team, commit to live these values every day throughout all of our actions. We provide the newest, most advanced permitting inspection software. It is proprietary to Safe Built. Like I said, the community core software that we utilize is developed in-house and it's proprietary. Our team utilizes the latest technology to be more efficient. We touched on that. And really, this is a key point here at the bottom of the slide. We're involved in every structure that is built in the town, and knowledge of both the building codes and building history throughout the town gives us the ability to handle projects and be able to maintain the culture for the town. So here's a few numbers that we added. Really, the key points on this is the permits that were issued. The top left is 2018 numbers, then top right is 2019. There was an increase in number of permits issued. Well, actually, the number of permits issued at the very top went down a little bit. The reason for that, at the end of 2018, we issued all the permits for this multifamily development, and included in that number, because the top number is almost double if you add up the lower columns of the four main categories. Part of that is because there was a major hailstorm. So we issue one-stop permits for roof repairs. And so that inflated the number, as well as the multifamily individual unit permits. Those are not reflected in the overall building permit. There's a single permit issued for the whole structure, but then every unit has a unit permit issued that allows us to track if there's anything that needs to be corrected on a single residential unit. So that inflated the overall permit number issued in 2018 to 865. That number did drop back down to 807. But as you'll see on the next slide with the inspections continued up year over year. Year to date in 2020, we've already issued 526 permits. So we're on track to, at that projected rate, to hit 880 permits. So another slight increase for this year. Inspections 2018, we did a total of 7,718 inspections, but only 224 of those were new commercial inspections. That number because of the commercial residential units. And again, a commercial structure that has residential occupancy, it's issued a commercial permit, but it is a residential occupancy when you have multifamily. Residential single-family homes are either 1 or 2 family homes. So it could be a duplex or a townhome. But anything that's multifamily would fall under commercial. So you'll see in the 2019, when those inspections were performed, that ballooned up to 2,761 commercial inspections, including all of those multifamily units, for a total in 2019 of 14,237 inspections. That was an 84% increase. So far this year, we've already done 9,418 inspections, projected out by the end of the year to be around 17,000. So that's another 21% increase this year over that major jump last year. Again, planner views in line with the increase in permits and inspections went up 24% from 2018 to 2019 and another 15% overall in 2020. Code enforcement cases, we have a code enforcement officer in the town 3 days a week. We're talking about potentially increasing that with the this year to be full-time 5 days a week. So 2018 to 2019 went from 287 cases to 415. So far this year, we're at 324 cases, which is on pace to hit a total of 527. So about a 44% increase last year and 27% increase this year. And this graph shows the overall trend. The top gray line is the inspections for the last 3 years, 2018, 2019, and then the projected total this year of 17,000. So you see that steep upward trend. Plan reviews, although they've increased about 20 to 40%, that line looks relatively flat in comparison to the steep increase we've seen in inspections, and same with permits. So in March, with the outbreak with COVID-19, there were several things we did in our response. We did close our office and work remotely. All permits were transitioned to electronic applications and reviews of those plans. And that enabled all of our team to be able to work remotely on that. You know, contractors can go online and apply for the permit. Our reviewers review them electronically through the software. And then our team members in the field for the inspections, all of our inspectors are complying with the requirements as far as wearing masks when you go in occupied homes. If they're going in a structure that's not occupied in new construction, then we don't require them to wear a mask in that unoccupied structure. And for a while, we were doing video inspections for the occupied homes. So we did that for about 2 or 3 months. The homeowner or contractor would log in with their iPhone or smartphone and walk around and show us the basement. Usually, mostly it was finished basements. There were people who were trying to get it, but until we were authorized by the county and state to be able to do those inspections in person, we did provide the video inspections. Now we've gone back in person, and we also have policies in place for testing and quarantining team members if they either have symptoms or have been in contact with someone who is confirmed a case with COVID. As a quick summary, this is really the point that I would like to hone in most on the entire presentation. We serve as the first preventers for the town of Timnath. So in contrast with first responders, building officials and building inspectors have the role of ensuring that structures are safe. This helps prevent accidents. It helps also ensure that a structure is safe if there is an event where first responders are called to a building, where they have access, they have communications through in the building that are built in for them. And so they have the confidence that they can go in and make a rescue without facing endangerment to their own lives and be able to get people out safely. So that's a role that we take very seriously as the building department for the town here, and really just try to reinforce with our team, throughout all of our actions and activities. We also represent the town of Timnath and community and build relationships with the residents and contractors through education on the code requirements and also facilitate bringing projects to completion. I have never seen a project that didn't get to completion, even if it had difficulties in the process, unless it was funding. But from a code requirement standpoint, there's never been a project that there wasn't some way that they could make it compliant and complete the project. We're always able to find a solution for them. And we support the community development process to promote the town's vision and create a successful, thriving community. So that's our role and our vision as a partner of the town. So appreciate your support over the years and look forward to continuing and assisting you. And anytime you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out directly, or you can contact Matt or any other staff members with your questions. They can forward them to us. But we're here to serve in anything that building safety related.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I just got one quick question. Can we jump back to the slide that shows all the permit numbers?
Numbers.
Just to make sure. Yeah.
Yes.
So on the commercial, does each permit issued correspond to a commercial structure, or is there multiple levels of permits for one structure? Or basically, do we have 24 buildings that are commercial built each year? I mean,
Yeah, so again, the commercial classification would be, these are any new commercial permits. So if there's a sign permit, it would be considered under a commercial classification. Again, if you have a multifamily dwelling, that is a commercial classification because it's not one or two families. So if it's not under residential, then it would fall under the commercial classification. Alterations would be a tenant finish. So if you had a core and shell building, like the buildings out in front of Town Hall here that were built that have multiple tenant spaces, that would be a new commercial build when they build the whole building. But then as each tenant moves in and pulls a permit to occupy their space, that would be an alteration permit to revise or finish and complete that space for their use.
okay, thank you.
Is there the ability for the public to search? Is there a database where they could search to see if permits have been pulled? I know some municipalities have that when it's in-house.
I know that we've gotten FOIA requests or we've gotten information requests. When they log in, if anyone who creates an account in Community Core can view anything that they're either the property owner for and see for their property what's been pulled and the history on their property. As far as seeing information on another property that they're not either the owner or an owner's agent of, then they have to request that information and we can provide it.
Okay, thank you.
Let me ask you, does your code enforcement officer deal with construction sites that are not well kept?
Yes, trash and debris is part of it, as well as
because
weeds.
periodically I think everybody on the council gets a note or a call saying that this is blowing into my yard and it's bottles, cans, and just thing from sites. But thank goodness it's only a few times a year, and every time I brought the issue up to the town manager and that it's taken care of, so I appreciate it.
Well, on that same note, is there a way that we can remind the property owners of some of those ahead of time about snow removal? I know that's definitely been an issue when I've walked on sidewalks, that sidewalks of vacant properties are not necessarily cleared of snow. So maybe get like a jump ahead. Obviously it's not snowing right now, but maybe like ahead of time, just a reminder to those people that they do need to clear sidewalks when there is a snowstorm.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure we can send an advance notice for them, you know. If it's not an active building project, then we would just reach out to the property owner. You know, if they're actively working, then we can issue them a notice as they're working, but that's.
It's usually the
Yeah.
vacant ones that
Yeah.
aren't being worked on, that I've noticed.
Commissioner, we, Councilmember Lake, we actually do send out a notice prior to the snow season. That is a heads up, hey, these are the codes of the town to clear the sidewalk is your responsibility. And we send it to, everybody postcard to the zip code. So it should get to everybody, but there are people that are absentee owners that aren't like maybe checking all that. So we do have to retroactively hit them. So with the
Great.
code complaint.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you.
It was very informative. I think that brings us to the end of our agenda unless anybody has anything else they want to just talk about. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. 4 ayes, 1 abstain. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.